Hey guys, welcome back to the story about adopting my brother. We're on part 11. If you've missed all the other previous parts, please listen to those before proceeding. On YouTube today, I got comments from people that relate to my story, and I felt so cool because I don't meet a lot of people that have adopted their siblings or gotten someone out of foster care or have dealt with the situation I've dealt with. So it's really cool to relate to people like that. If you know anyone that's gone through a similar situation as me, please send them my way. I just want to be able to relate to someone. If people are going through it, I want to be able to give advice. Like, I'm here for it. Please send them my way. So with all my other videos, I got up until he was placed into my custody temporarily. This is way before adoption because you can get custody of someone from foster care while their parents get their shit together. It was reunification until we weren't able to reunify. So I'm just reading off court orders and shit that just kind of explain what was going on and why his parents never ended up being able to get him out of my custody. Alright, so this court document is explaining that we switched counties, like I explained in my previous videos, and that they need to have supervised visits, but I was not allowed to do the supervised visits in the beginning. It's really hard to tell the story when it's 10 years old. I can't remember exactly how it began, or the middle, or the end. It's all kind of just meshes together. So this says that they're going to get at least one visit per week, supervised by someone else but me, and then we had put it in there. They agreed that I could do holidays or special occasions because we all cared about seeing each other for like Christmas or his birthday or shit like that. So they let me be able to supervise visits for that. So on this document, it says my home study was completed January 14, 2015, which is fucked up because he's placed into foster care October 22nd, 2014. So they just had this kid sitting in a stranger's house and they couldn't just do a home study at my house. A home study is they get all your records. You have to write down every place you've ever lived. You have to have I don't know if they do a background check then, but I'm pretty sure there's some kind of background check. You have to have references. It's a whole big ordeal, but it shouldn't take months and months and months for me to complete a couple pieces of paper while this child is sitting in someone's house. And mind you, they were really great foster parents, but my kid was terrified because he didn't know these people. And when they put him to bed, they shut him in a room with no TV, in the darkness, all alone. And my dad's always been a TV guy, so I know he grew up the same way, even if it was up until he was 2.5 years old. Listening to a TV at night, having lights on. I love that shit. You see my star, that shit is on when I'm sleeping. My TV is on. I would never shut a child who doesn't even know who I am in a room all by themselves in the fucking dark. No, dude. Even now he's 13 and he still talks about hating foster care. And there's so many worse stories than people being shut in a room in the darkness, So even his experience he did not like. All right, going back to where they ended up living together after she got out of jail and he had moved closer to me because I helped him get an apartment and a job. It says that they willfully violated the order that the original court had instructed them to follow. It said, on November 17, 2015, my dad tested positive during a drug screening for Coca-Cola and admitted to his probation officer that he had been drinking alcohol and smoking. Which makes sense now why he did end up going back to jail. You know how in previous stories I said he was in jail for some reason. I can't remember why. It's because originally when my kid was taken, he was arrested for unlawful imprisonment and child endangerment. I think he was placed on probation because he hadn't gone to jail that time. And this was violating probation. I know they both had probation. It's all making sense. It's like I said, I'm sorry the story isn't fresh and I'm telling it 10 years later. It's the best I got. So same day, my dad had notified his probation officer that they were being evicted from their home. Neither my dad or Jay notified this new county that they were being evicted from their home. On November 18th, when confronted by a caseworker, Jay admitted that she had to attend court that following day for the eviction notice, and that on November 19th, Jay attended court and was given 10 days to move out of their home. And I feel so bad for helping him get that apartment because it was my landlord's elderly mom who had that apartment and they destroyed it. My dad was punching holes. They were fighting each other. It was really destructive. And then they were selling off, how I saved my grandma's stuff in those storage units? Well, I had given it back when my dad got that apartment. So guess what he ended up doing with the shit again? Selling it off. I had driven by one day and I saw a lawn sale, porch sale, if you would. All my grandmother's dishes and shit. And I called my mom and Waterford Crystal and shit. I called my mom. I'm like, oh my God, Mom. He's literally getting rid of everything. And so my mom, thank God she did something right. Because we have different moms, by the way. she helped me pay to get my grandmother's dishes back. I had to pay for that shit. It was like $300 for the plates and shit, and then like another $200 for the Waterford crystal. And he wouldn't give it to me all. Like he gave me pieces. But, you know, most of the stuff from my grandmother's I had to buy back from my dad. And they actually scammed me out of a desk, which is just like a fun little side story. But literally, probably only one of the things I wanted from my grandmother was this desk that she would write letters at, and it was like all our Christmas cards and postcards and stamps and like just a grandma's desk, you know. Whenever I thought about my grandma, I thought about that desk. And I asked them for it when we were moving everything out, and they told me they weren't getting rid of it. And then when they moved out and everything, I asked about the desk because I didn't see it, and they said they ended up selling it for $120, something around there. I was like, why would you sell it? I literally would have bought that fucking desk. And so they didn't tell me how much they sold it for. I ended up finding out after the fact, but they made me pay like $200. They upscaled me to make money off of me. I didn't even know this part of the story. I'm just reading it now. It says it's ordered that the child shall remain in the custody of me under the supervision of social services, and the respondents shall remain under the supervision of a child protective agency, social services official, or duly authorized agency for a period of 1 year to expire July 15, 2016. So it must be after July 15th is when they started the proceedings to getting termination of parental rights, because they had given them from October 2014 till July 2016 to get their shit together, and they couldn't do it. My binder just fell on the ground. But this is just another little stack. I've already gone through a stack like this, reading to you guys and sorting out documents. This is just court documents. This isn't me saving text messages or any other documentation I have. This is just some of what we dealt with. We went to court all the time, and every time I went to court, I had to fear that I would lose him that day because I didn't know what was happening. You know, I didn't learn about like all the bad shit they were doing until we went to court, and they're like, oh yeah, they're fucking snorting shit. You know, I would fear every time I went to court, every time I had a home visit, which was once a month, and court was like every 3 months or 6 months. I can't remember exactly, but I would always think I was losing him, and it was a terrible feeling because, like, I loved him as my brother, but like when you're actually their caretaker, it becomes like a different kind of love, and I didn't want to lose him. Like after a certain point, I was like, I'm here to protect him. Like I don't want to. I love him. You know, it fucking sucked, dude. All right, so the story is gonna end up all lining at the end. But it looks like on May 20th, 2015, she was able to get visits supervised by me. And then it was in July that she tried to kidnap him from me and had to go back to supervised by the county's visits. It also says in here, supervised by me at times and place as can be arranged between the parties. I always picked a public location such as McDonald's or the park. I wanted people to be around. I wanted cameras to be there. And I thought it was kid friendly. And she would always throw a fit that I wasn't going to her house. This reminds me of a story. I think this was after adoption though. But it's kind of just a funny story I want to throw in there real quick. She wanted to have a birthday party at her house really bad, and I suggested a place that my kid really liked. It had interactive stuff for kids. It was family friendly, and we could do pizza party, like we could do whatever there. They allowed cake, everything like that, like it was a birthday party place. She threw a fit so bad that she agreed to the party at this place, said she'd pick up the bill, and then she left early, didn't even say bye to me or nobody. She said bye to her kid when we weren't looking or whatever. And then she dropped the bill on me. And then I said, no, she fucking offered to pay for that shit. You know, like, how do you take off? And then she canceled the visit early because she wanted to be at home with her other family members. I don't want to skip ahead too far and tell you more of the story than you know yet, but I just can't believe that shit. And then it also says in here that if we can't agree on visitation or anything like that, then the Department of Social Services will find a supervised deemed appropriate to supervise the visitation a minimum of once per week. So really, if you could get along with me, you could get as many visits as we wanted to agree on. And I was willing to do whatever, bitch. She just wanted to do whatever she fucking wanted to do and not just go to public locations. Pick up on part 12. Hey guys, welcome back to the story about me adopting my brother. We are on part 12, so if you haven't seen the previous videos, I suggest you catch up first because it's a big story. We're already at 12 parts and we're barely in the beginning of the story. I'm kind of just going to read what I have in the stack of papers when I find it, because I have no way of truly organizing this paperwork unless I take a lot of time out of my day to get everything in order. And like I previously said, the story is 10 years old, and when I screenshot shit, I didn't have dates on it because it was like screenshot today. So I'm just going to go to this, which is about her birthday. She texts me at almost 8 o'clock at night saying, "Thanks for having the decency to have my son call me for my birthday today." I said, "He tried to celebrate it with you on Wednesday." She said, "Whatever. You do this out of spite." I said, "Having your son celebrate your birthday on your visit day was out of spite, and giving you gifts and having him make you a card was out of spite. Makes sense. Good night." She said, "You're so ignorant and not to mention rude." Mind you, he was 3 or 4 years old. Probably 4 because I got him in January. So he's 4 years old. Like, he had celebrated in my eyes her birthday, whether or not it was the day prior or whatever day this was. He's 4. She can call him if she wants. I don't know. In my eyes, I think I did the right thing there. This all becomes a mess. I said something about, "Do you want us to return the monster truck?" One of the caseworkers who was supervising the visit said he could keep it. Also, please don't spray him with perfume, because she wanted him to have her scent. She would douse him in perfume and anything that she would give him. She gave him like this Batman pillow once and soaked it. And I had just got him diagnosed with acute asthma and seasonal allergies. He was coughing for like 8 months straight, which she shit on me for until I figured out what it was. Spraying him with perfume is not helping it. So I said, "Can you not spray him with perfume? He has asthma and I don't want him to have an attack. Thanks." And then she says, "You broke the damn truck, so do what you want with it and stop telling me what to do with my kid." I said, "It's not broken, question mark. He had slept with it all week. I don't watch his toys. And do you want him to die over perfume? Seriously? Do not spray him. Thanks." It was just like a battle. It's like, we just couldn't get along, I guess. She says, "You're full of shit. I didn't send it to you that way. And maybe if you gave me updates on a regular basis with the doctors and such, I would know what's going on. Sorry he wanted some cologne so he could smell like her boyfriend." I said, "You have all the updates on the doctor. He is diagnosed with asthma and allergies. You mean your boyfriend, the guy he saw one time delivering pizza? Makes sense." I honestly don't remember what happened with the monster truck, but obviously something broke on it. She said, "No, his soon-to-be stepfather, because his biological father is a deadbeat and never calls. Good night to you." And then I said, "I don't think so, LOL. My kid has my boyfriend at the time, and dad is actually pretty involved, like you'd know. I wouldn't let your immature issues get in the way of his health. Just don't spray him with perfume, that's it." She says, "Yeah, okay. Who the hell are you to say? You're just a satanic worshiper, and I feel sorry for you. Your parents never taught you any manners. That's sad. It makes sense that your drunkard father is in the city and has so much involvement, LOL. Like father, like daughter." This is where I'm starting to show you guys she was a complete fucking asshole to me. And my dad was in that city to get sober. He went into a veterans home where everyone was sober. He was getting his shit together, and I'd visit him all the time. I don't know. I said, "Because I don't want him to have an asthma attack. I really don't know where you come up with this stuff you make up about me. I hope you get help. Dad is getting help. I'll keep you in my prayers." She said, "Just look at yourself in the mirror, honey. It says dark all over you. I'm sure if our kid had an attack, it would have happened instantly, so drop it. I don't need help. I don't slit my wrist and take pictures of it." And the only reason she said that is because when I was getting along with her once, I had showed her a picture where I did do that when I was much younger, and I had came across that picture, and I guess I felt, I'm not one of those people that like hide behind walls and like I am who I am type shit. And because I saw that picture, it was really intense. I fucked up that day, and I'll tell anybody that story. I don't have that picture anymore, but I did something stupid and I was sharing it with the wrong people. And when you do that kind of shit, sociopaths and narcissists use that shit against you. And I said, "You're so mentally ill. I hope you get the help you need. Don't spray him with perfume. That's all I'm saying. You're literally getting out of control." I said, "Get help, get your medication, be a mom that doesn't want her kid to have an asthma attack. You've been told before, so just stop." And this is where I really learned to not respond to people. I didn't really have a good concept on narcissists and them trying to get your energy and they want you to freak out so they can use it against you. And like, her bullying me educated me in so many ways, and I learned a lot from it. So I am thankful for going through that, even though like it sucked. But she said, "You are the mental case. I don't need medication. I need my son, and your intentions were ill from the beginning. You never wanted him to come back to me because you're spiteful, but karma is a bitch." I said, "My intentions are very well with him. That's why I've asked you not to spray him with perfume. He doesn't need to get sick. I appreciate you not spraying him again. Thank you." And like I've been trying to say since the story began, I read my petition in the beginning. Nowhere's in there was I trying to fucking steal him for life. And this is all the shit that she keeps saying about me over and over and over and over again. Not just to me, but to other people. She has convinced people, her boyfriend, her baby dad, that I worship the devil. He literally believes I worship the devil. Never have. She says, "All you do is repeat yourself. What, are you drunk again? You may fool everyone else, but we know the truth." I said, "Sure, Jay, because I'm being a decent adult trying to let you know the perfume is not good for a 5-year-old child, and you don't want to hear it." I said, "I appreciate your attempt on trying to hurt me, but everything you say is a lie. You can try and bash me all day long, but it doesn't matter. What matters is our kid and his well-being." When I say our kid, I didn't write that in the text. I'm writing his name, but for the sake of not exposing his name and personal details about our life, I'm saying our kid. "I simply asked you not to spray him nicely at that, and you've turned this into a huge fight. Obviously, you care more about trying to piss me off than your son's health. You should check your priorities. His health is what matters, not me being pissed off. The shit you say about me to other people doesn't affect me, Jay, but nice try. Night." And the shit doesn't affect me, but, like, it's, like, appalling, and, like, you trying to bash me as a human is just, like, what are you doing? And then I have a text from someone else, and like I said, I'm just reading the stack while I have it. And she had told her boyfriend her mom was in the mafia in the city, worked for the mafia. She always goes back to this she don't know a goddamn person in the fucking mafia. Then I just have a stack of texts where she was actually really nice to me. We were talking about his pictures. She was saying how she thinks his teacher adores him. I was sending, he got an art certificate. She was like really nice to me in these. She said, "Thank you for sending this to me." You know, she was really nice, and that's what I keep trying to say about her, is like she's got two different sides, and I just wish the nice one came out more often. So this is another permanency hearing report. This one was done February 10th, 2016. Everything's just kind of fucking out of order, and I'm, again, sorry for that. So when my dad was incarcerated and got out, he was only in there a very minimal time. He did live with her for a hot second until she kicked him out. It's kind of hard to explain the story, but it says here my dad was recently incarcerated for violating his probation by becoming intoxicated and locking Jay out of her residence. And it's listed as her residence because she put it in her name. And my dad was calling me during all this. I probably have a video voice recording of him talking to me about it, because when shit was getting wonky, I was fucking recording that shit because I was there to protect my brother. So at the end of the day, do the shit you need to, and there won't be a voice recording of you doing some dumb shit. And here it says, Jay has reported that her and my dad are no longer involved with one another. She has attended a few DV classes, but has not completed the program. She needs to find a new provider because she left her old provider. My dad hasn't begun the DV classes, and that she reports she's attending weekly anger management sessions. Then it says she's still attending mental health, but she's not taking her meds. And then she says in here, Jay has stated that the child needs to be with her family, but she does not want him to be at my house. Why?
Hotel, so I went over and she goes, "Have a drink at the bar, she'll pay for it." And as soon as I get there, she's on the phone. She sees me, and she turns her head and starts texting. And I go, "You're not up to nothing, right?" So I didn't go in. I just walked back home. And then she's chasing me across the parking lot, and I just walked home. Your dad's got a lot of pride, and it's just like, and it really pissed her off. And I came home, I threw the car keys, because we don't have one. Fucked that up. She chased me. I turned around. She goes, "What about the drink, this and that, motherfucker?"
Hey guys, and welcome back to my story about me adopting my brother. We're on part 13. So if you missed the other 12 videos, go listen to those first. So where I left off on this permanency hearing report was Jay stating she did not want her son in my care. She wanted him to be with her family. So it says, in order for him to return to her care, Jay must comply with these requirements: anger management, domestic violence counseling, complete a chemical dependency evaluation, maintain housing, continue visits, and Jay and my father need to learn how to communicate, etc., etc. And for my dad, just because I don't want to just bash one person or put one person under the bus or whatever, but for my dad, same thing. He has to be successfully discharged from substance abuse counseling, anger management, domestic violence, and mental health counseling. And then he has to comply with his probation and maintain safe and stable housing, and also meet with caseworker as scheduled, and needs to obtain income. Barriers. My father was currently incarcerated, and because he's incarcerated, he is unable to work on services. Jay and my father are not always honest with service providers. Jay has not completed a substance abuse evaluation. It really is appalling. Like, if you've heard my last video, how she's attacking me, go to your goddamn classes, bro. I also want this on the record. My child, my brother, will remain in the care of his half-sister, we have different moms, until my father and Jay can rectify the situations that placed him in care. This was all to reunify them. I didn't steal nobody. Nobody else made this happen but them. And just to give praise to myself in this paperwork, it says, I demonstrate an understanding of what is developmentally appropriate for him. I have gotten him enrolled in preschool, where he is receiving speech therapy and special education. I have enrolled him in kindergarten, which he will begin in the fall, and that I interact with him in a nurturing manner, and that he has expressed that my home is his home. Alright, so with the texts that I have in the binder, they're very organized up to the day. And this I emailed one of the social workers in October 2015. And I was talking about giving Jay's mom a call because she hadn't spoke to her grandson since May, because she's not made an attempt to contact me. And then I said, they talked and she was happy to hear from him. I talked to her as well without him present about the July 4th situation she brought up. She said Jay was just going to get him an ice cream cone, not a big deal. I said that's not what she was doing. She was in a huge crowd by the band. I said, I know you're her mom, so I don't know what she would tell you. Then her mom tells me she was going to find my father. I said that's not what happened. My dad and her had gotten into it before leaving to go to a line with my friend, and none of us knew where my father was. I said it was a supervised visit and I need to know where she is and need to have my eyes on her. Sorry, this is getting out of order here. I said, hence supervised. And her mom says, well, the supervised visits at the house with that woman, she's not up Jay's ass. She sits inside while Jay goes outside. I said, I don't know the rules, but I need to know what's going on. What she did was wrong. It could potentially land him back in foster care on my account. Halloween was brought up because they filed for modification where I could watch him for special occasions and stuff, but it wasn't read at court. So they wanted to do trick-or-treating, but it hadn't been filed in time, so I said it might not happen. And she said, who's going to know if you go to their house and knock on their door for trick-or-treating? And again, I bring up that he could go to foster care for not following rules, and she disagreed because how would they know? And I just dropped it and said, I'm not doing that. And then she said, as far as I'm concerned, Jay should have her kid back by now. And that she's going to her classes, I take her, and my father needs rehab. And I said, let's just not talk about that. I said, I'm just trying to talk about you and the child. We need to get this relationship together because I'm not trying to rip him away from family. We have a tough situation. We all need to come together and to figure out what's best for his sake. And she agreed. And the shit goes on and on. And during this time, I would creep on Jay's Facebook to see things like this that were posted. And I feel like they were directly talking about me. It says some people suck the nice right out of you with a pew pew. This is another email between me and the caseworker. I'm talking about Thanksgiving. And I said, the shit hasn't been filed. Like, what do we do? Like, it hasn't been read at court. She said, we discussed the holiday modification when we met on Wednesday, but it's not officially proposed yet, as it had been submitted that day. One member of the meeting was opposed to the idea, but does not necessarily mean that it will not go through. We may just need to find a different supervisor. It does not look like this will be effective by Halloween, but if we work something else out, it could be effective by Thanksgiving. I just wanted to give you a heads up. However, if it is not effective by then I am sure we can work something out with the visit for that week. I will keep you updated. This is another email I sent someone. I said, my dad called me a little while ago and told me you were at his house today. He told me Jay is doing Coca-Cola and being with another man, but asked me not to pass on this information. I asked him if he has told you this. He said no, and he said he's not the type to bash somebody. Karma will strike in time. I said, that's stupid. Would you want your kid handed over to her when she's doing all of this? He just tells me karma will strike. He admitted neither one of them should be taking care of him right now, and I'm doing the right thing. I'm really glad I kept all this because I literally blocked out all this shit. But I said, I guess my dad's phone was shut off. He said it was shut off because Jay took it away from him because she was mad at him. I met him yesterday because he asked me to. It was just me and him. The kid was at home with my boyfriend at the time. We went to his alcohol counselor and we spoke about a few things, which was a huge step for my dad because he doesn't communicate very well and doesn't open up. The counselor wanted to know why I think my dad has issues, and I said his personal issues, our family splitting up, the past and general that he's stuck on, and Jay was brought up, and my dad 100% doesn't want to be with her, but he can't tell her that right now because she'll flip out, and we all know how she gets when she doesn't get her way. My dad said he's just trying to keep the peace until he can figure something out. He says that we're going to end up getting evicted because her job isn't giving her any hours. He said he's currently seeking to get a job. He was talking about trying to find a one-bedroom without her. He mentioned she keeps saying she's going to send him to jail and she's going to go live where she works. She says, I just want my kid and to get away from all of you. Outside of the counselor's office, we talked more about how much he has yet to still tell this guy and how much my grandma has affected him, as well as the situation with his sister, which is a very tough situation. I told him how happy I was he was going, and he said he's been making more appointments a week because he knows he needs the help. I'm very happy to hear that. He told me it's been such a long time since she's been able to get a good night's sleep because of Jay, and he is always on the constant attack or the loud phone calls she has with her mother and how much she hates work and she doesn't want to help herself. She doesn't like her medication, so she doesn't take it. He was talking about a conversation he was having with his lawyer about Article 6 and possibly in the future having joint custody between me and him. He doesn't think Jay will ever change her ways and the mindset he is in. It's possible he may stop drinking sometime in the future. I'm not holding my breath, but at least he is starting to try again. He mentioned he has to make an appointment to see his, what the fuck do they call that? Sponsor. He knows I'm not trying to steal our kid away and that my intentions are well. He said that you have been so nice to Jay when you didn't have to be, and she doesn't see it. She doesn't appreciate it. He mentioned about all the classes our kid is in, speech therapy and special ed. She is living and says he's too smart for all that and doesn't want him in them. He tried to explain that I said in my text that he's going to catch up so quick and they will end up kicking him out come reevaluation. It's only helping him. This is from October 5th. My dad called me and told me Jay wants to smack the shit out of him and call the cops. I said, why? What's going on? He said, because we're on the verge of splitting up and she's pissed. I shouldn't have to choose between you and Jay. And I told him that I feel that way. And he said, it's true. Then I heard her screaming in the background, why don't you tell her you're drinking and you're drunk? I didn't realize she was near him on the phone. And I just simply said, I don't want to talk to you around her. And we said, I love yous, and hung up. And then I contacted the upstairs neighbor's daughter to have her contact her mom and let her know it might be crazy over there and listen for anything. I didn't want my dad getting hurt. I also contacted I called him my stepdad. I don't believe in that shit. To call my dad and make sure everything was okay because he called me because he was scared for his safety. He wouldn't have called me in front of Jay for any other reason. He let me know his phone went to voicemail. So I don't know what happened. She's known for smashing phones and iPods, so maybe it. It's just not changing over there. And then they suggested I call the cops. And then we go on about how my car seat wasn't good enough. It was always like, you don't contact me enough for doctors. You don't visit in the right way. You don't visit enough. You don't visit when I want to. Now your car seat is fucked up. It's just everything was attack on me when you should have been going to your goddamn classes.
It's fucked up because your mind isn't right. She's been doing coke like 4 days in a row. Makes people crazy.
Hey Guys, welcome back to the story about me adopting my brother. We're on part 14. I want to take you back to the beginning before my brother was placed into foster care. I told you guys in previous clips that Jay, my dad, and my brother were living with my grandmother. My grandmother was then taken against her will by my aunt, and then my aunt evicted them all. It was a big fucking mess. That's a story for another day. But these voice clips are like when my dad was like hiding out at my grandmother's house. He was leaving me clips. And I want you guys to understand how much my dad has put on me as a whole. This is just this period in time. Like being the daughter of an addict is tremendously hard. And I just want you guys kind of get a glimmer into the kind of life I've lived. I don't like victimize myself or make myself out to be a victim. It made me a really strong person. My dad now is fucking 3+ years sober. To jump ahead of things, Jay is in prison right now. I just wanted to share this little glimpse into how shit was going before my brother was placed into foster care. At this time, I don't know where my brother was during these voicemails. Jay would leave him at random people's houses, where she did whatever she did. She'd leave him at her mom's house, and my dad did not have him during any of these clips. And listening back to some of these clips made me emotional, and I just want to share some clips instead of just me reading off pieces of paper for right now.
Give Dad a call when you get it, please. Thank you. Dad, I don't understand all this, and they're gonna wrap my head around this, so I'm pretty much fucked. They're now mowing the lawn, so I just woke up. I can't read the text anymore. I need your reading glasses. I don't know. I can't get your mother's number. Can you just give me her number and she can call me, please? Shit, Dad. Bounce back to me. ASAP. Okay. I love you and you help me. I got now you bitch here. I tried to fucking make it right and it doesn't work. So, I'd like to hear from you. It's just Dad. It's hard to read these text messages. That's why I want a bigger font. I guess the font's the biggest it's gonna get. But I love your mother. Can she call me kinda like that? T-Dog? Something. I'm okay. I'm just pissed. Jesus Christ, I told you about it. It just doesn't make any sense. And it's like, leave her alone, Dad. I get it. Alright, now I will. Because it's going nowhere. So if T-Dog can dog, we're good. It's just Dad. And my battery's dead, so I gotta charge it at Vinny's again. So I left the bricks with no power. And alright. I love you. You need to talk to your father so I can explain to you what I've been doing. Alright? It's good things. It's just give me the break to talk to me, please. We have a good rapport. I know I abandoned you at 13 and I got you back. I didn't abandon you. The bitch took me away. Drugs, whatever. Don't do like I did. Alright? Be a better girl than your father. But would you please hear me out at some point, and maybe it'll make sense to you? Please? I love you. Don't do this to me now. I need your help.